Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for joining this session. My name is Hemant Dandu. I am currently working as an Associate Director, Data Science and Advanced Analytics at IQVIA. Today, I will be talking about predicting time to next treatment using survival informed machine learning. So, the goal of this work is to bridge real world oncology data with practical and scalable AI solutions. I will walk you through the problem, the modeling approach, and most importantly, how this translates into real world impact. So, moving on to the problem context, oncology treatment journeys are rarely linear or predictable. So, patients often move across multiple lines of therapy depending on how they respond to the treatments and how long the disease progresses. So these decisions are not purely biological. They are influenced by physician judgment, patient condition, and real world constraints. Now, when we look at traditional clinical trial endpoints, they operate in very controlled environments. They use strict inclusion criteria and don't always reflect what happens in real world clinical practice. This creates a gap where we lack visibility into how long treatments actually remain effective outside the trials. So, the key challenge here is how do we analyze and predict treatments or treatment transitions using real world longitudinal patient data? So, why does this matter? So, this is where our time to next treatment becomes extremely valuable. So, time to next treatment essentially measures the time between the start of one treatment and the initiation of the next. It acts as a proxy for treatment effectiveness and durability in real world settings. Unlike traditional survival metrics, time to next treatment is easier to capture in real world data sets like claims or EHR data. It reflects both disease progression and clinical decision making. With time to next treatment, we can answer very practical questions. How long is a treatment actually working in the real world conditions? When do patients tend to switch therapies and why do they do that? So it becomes a highly actionable endpoint for both clinical and business users. So, from a clinical perspective, predicting time to next treatment helps identify patients who may be at risk of early progression. This allows for more proactive intervention and better treatment planning. It also improves our understanding of how treatments perform across different patient populations. From a commercial standpoint, this becomes equally powerful. So, organizations can segment patients based on treatment durability and outcomes. So, this supports more targeted engagement strategies and lifecycle management. At a broader level, this kind of framework connects medical, commercial, and analytics teams. It enables a more unified data driven approach for decision making using real world insights. So, moving on to the data overview, the dataset used in this study consists of approximately 5,600 patient records with 19 variables. It is designed to reflect real world oncology treatment patterns, combining clinical, behavioral, and treatment related signals. We include demographic information such as age and BMI, along with clinical indicators such as like cancer stage, ECOG score, comorbidity index. We also include biomarkers like LDH, albumin, and genomic risk score, which are commonly used in oncology assessments. So, treatment related variables include prior lines of therapy and dose intensity. Additionally, we capture healthcare utilization patterns, such as patients' missed visits, which often reflect real world patient behavior. The target variable is a binary indicator of early versus delayed transition to the next treatment. One important aspect of the dataset is that it is imbalanced dataset with a higher proportion of early transitions. This reflects realistic treatment patterns and adds complexity to the modeling problem. So our dataset has approximately 83% of early transitions. So the critical part of this work was feature engineering. We focused on capturing clinical, treatment, temporal, and behavioral signals. These features reflect how treatment decisions are made in real world settings. This is likely a key reason why performance is consistent across models. It reinforces that feature quality plays a major role in predictive success. So, the core objective here is to predict whether a patient is likely to transition early or later to the next treatment. We frame this as like a binary classification problem. This simplifies implementation while still preserving clinical relevance. Instead of building a full survival model, we take a survival informed approach. That means we incorporate time related and clinical reasoning into features and modeling process. This allows us to stay aligned with real world oncology timelines while keeping the model scalable and deployable. The output is a prediction of treatment transition risk that can be used operationally. So, coming to the modeling approach, we evaluated multiple supervised machine learning models to ensure robustness. So, starting with logistic regression, which serves as a baseline and provides interpretability. Then, random forest captures nonlinear relationships and feature interactions. Support vector machines help model complex decision boundaries. So, gradient boosting focuses on improving performance through sequential learning. And then moving on to like k nearest neighbors captures local patterns in the data. So the goal here was not just to find the best model, but to understand how model types behave on this problem. This gives us flexibility in choosing models based on performance, interpretability, and deployment needs. So the system architecture and pipeline. This particular slide outlines the overall pipeline from data to insights. We start with patient level data, ingestion of data and pre-processing, and then we move into feature engineering, where raw data is transformed into meaningful signals. Multiple models are trained on this feature space. The models are evaluated and compared. And finally, predictions are generated and translated into actionable insights. The key focus here is building a pipeline that is scalable and reproducible. This is important for enterprise adoption. Also, the architecture is designed for like scalability and reproducibility. So this particular visual simplifies the entire pipeline into a flow. We start with patient data, which includes demographics, clinical treatment, and utilization signals. The data is processed and transformed into features. These features are fed into multiple machine learning models. The output is a prediction of time to next treatment risk. And finally, these predictions are used to drive business and clinical decisions. What is important here is the end-to-end integration from raw data to decision making. Here, we are looking at model performance across multiple evaluation metrics, not just accuracy. So random forest and SVM achieve the highest accuracy at around 0.916. Precision and recall are also consistent across models, which indicates reliable predictions. One important prediction is that the recall is particularly high across all models. This suggests that the models are effective at identifying early treatment transitions. So F1 scores are also stable, indicating a good balance between precision and recall. Overall, the performance consistency across model reinforces the robustness of the approach. So this chart provides a visual comparison of model accuracy. As we can see, performance is tightly clustered across all models. No single model significantly outperforms the others. This typically indicates that the feature is set uh, capturing strong and consistent signals. It also suggests that the problem is not heavily dependent on model complexity. When we interpret these results, a few important insights emerge. Ensemble models like random forest handle interactions between features like effectively. SVM captures nonlinear decision boundaries well. However, no model clearly dominates each other. This indicates that feature quality is likely a primary driver of performance. From a practical standpoint, this gives us flexibility in model selection. It also reinforces that the approach is stable and generalizable. So, feature insights and interpretability. This is one of the most important parts of the analysis. So, the feature importance chart shows which variables are driving predictions. We see that treatment history and progression indicators are among the top drivers. This aligns well with clinical intuition. Healthcare utilization also plays a role, indicating real world behavioral patterns. Interpretability is critical in healthcare applications. Stakeholders need to trust the model, not just its accuracy. So this is equally applicable for both the clinicians or the clinical teams and the business teams. This also supports explainable AI practices and regulatory expectations. So, moving on to the real world applications, these predictions can be applied in several real world scenarios. Clinically, they help identify patients at risk of early transition to the treatments. This allows for timely interventions and better care planning. From a commercial perspective, they enable segmentation and targeted engagement. Organizations can focus on patients who are likely to transition sooner and target the physicians early for the potential next treatments. Operationally, this helps to monitor treatment effectiveness over the time. Overall, it enables a more proactive and data driven approach. So, the key takeaways are time to next treatment is a powerful and practical endpoint for real world oncology analytics. Machine learning can be effectively predict treatment transitions when supported by strong features. The framework balances the performance with interpretability and scalability. This makes it suitable for real world deployment. Ultimately, this supports better clinical and business decision making and contributes to more personalized and patient centric strategies. And this is very important, especially in rare diseases like in the oncology space. So while the current framework demonstrates strong and stable performance, there are several directions to extend the work further. One natural extension is integrating survival based models such as Cox regression or survival forests to capture time to event dynamics more explicitly. We can also incorporate temporal and sequence based modeling approaches to better reflect the longitudinal nature of the patient journeys. Applying this framework to the real world claims and EMR datasets would be important next step to validate the practical utility. From a feature perspective, incorporating rich clinical and biomarker data could be further improve predictive performance. So the more data we have, the better the decision making process would be. So finally, the ultimate goal would be to deploy these models into real-time analytics or decision support systems, enabling actionable insights into clinical and commercial workflows. This brings to the end of my presentation. And thank you so much for tuning in.